Okay, I'm going to try and show you how I'm changing my battery for my 2011 Jetta TDI. Now, what I found was I've had some electrical issues where the center lights, and I'm talking about these ones here below the radio, stayed on all the time. Key was out, locked, unlocked, and basically the lights would stay on, go off for a second, back on, and over time, of course, it drained my battery. Got in one morning, coincidentally after I had service, and pressed the button for start. Lights go on and off and on and off on the dash, and some weird thumping sound, nothing to do with the engine, like a solenoid or starter trying to engage like you would normally think. Anyhow, decided, you know what, out of a hunch, I'm going to charge the battery. Charged it a bit, and lo and behold, it started. This is just to show you briefly. So what I've done already is take off the air cleaner. There's screws here, there, the normal screws. Oops. And you pull off the air cleaner and move it off to the side so that you can get at that bolt which holds in the battery. The other thing I did was, mine has this soft cover as opposed to a lot of them online. Pretty much all of them that I tried looking for had a hard cover. So this soft cover, once you get the terminals off, which is here, you can actually pull it straight up and out. There's nice handles on the original to pull out. It says here, when you look down, if there's no green, then your battery's okay. And I do have no green. However, given the problems I've had, I'm replacing it anyhow. And I'll try and report on afterwards. While it's off, there is a ground here. Some people online say to clean that, so I will probably look at doing that as well, just in case, because that apparently is help for some people on electrical issues. So what I'm going to do next is loosen this, and then I should be able to pull the battery straight out. Okay, so I loosened it. Should be loose enough now, and I believe you have to take it all the way out. So just remember, the two tabs go into the battery. What I like to do is eye it, make sure that I know I'm doing the right thing here. Now let's see. I won't be able to do this one-handed, but you'll have to slide the battery over a little that way, angle it up to get it out. I'll have to do that. Sorry for the change of camera. Of course, you know, when you're doing these things, make sure you get a full battery. So you see the new battery. Love those Costco batteries. I've used them before. They seem to last forever. There's the old battery out. Now what the new battery did, see there's a vent hole right here that's been plugged, and over here it's open. If you can see that. So I just matched that. The one by the positive terminal here is in the cap of, there's little caps here covering the cap of the positive terminal. It tells you there's a little plug here. Alright, so what I did is I pulled that off, stuck it in there. The back vent is okay. I positioned it. I don't know if you can see, but down there, there's little ridges that the battery sits under. So slide it in, slide it against there, and then you can start to put this back on. Interestingly, I found that when I went in here, there was something off. I got intermittent codes about throttle body, and being just in service. Okay, so that's hand tight. The thing is up against. So this here, which goes into tube that goes into my air cleaner, so pulling into the engine, was off and just sitting down here, pulling all dirty air. No wonder my air cleaner seemed to be doing a good job of never getting dirty. So now we come down to here and we tighten up the battery holder. and you don't need to tighten it and crank it really hard. Then on goes the positive terminal. Oops, before I do that, always remember, reverse order. Stick this back over top, if I can get it over top, holding the camera at the same time. So slide the battery cover over top. It seems to go down nicely. Now, always put the positive terminal on first. There's a nice little hole there. Oh, before I do that, you know what? I'm gonna try and clean them. So to backtrack, this negative terminal goes onto the side here. I'm using the same bolt size, 14 mil, as I used to get the battery off, and I'm gonna take this off and clean nicely in here, because as you can see over time it gets somewhat dirty, so I'm gonna clean that off. So I used a wire brush, etc. Clean the inside of the terminals, clean the flat part of this terminal, the wall, etc. Now I'm going to put this back on there and we'll see what happens. I also clean the end of the screw. So hopefully this did good for it. And I will have to put the phone down. Okay, now I can put the battery back in. And as mentioned, I'm going to cam it up to this side, and then I'll put down the holder by hand, tighten it up, which is always hard to do when you're working with one hand. Okay, I'll tighten that up. Then I'll slide this cover back over top, and I'll get to you in a second. Okay, tied it down, put the cover back on, and now I'm going to put the positive terminal on first, and then the negative terminal, and then I'll button the air cleaner back down, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so everything's buttoned up. I tighten that, put both terminals on, of course positive first, then negative, and in my case there was no longer a spark, which is a good sign, because I think I may have found the issue with the interior lights being on. Last time when I moved the terminal and put it back, it would spark. Anyhow, we'll see how it starts.